Welcome to Aspen Affairs. I'm Alycin Bektesh, Public Affairs Manager with the Aspen Chamber Resort Association. Today, I'm joined by our own Eliza Voss, Vice President of Destination Marketing at ACRA. Hi, Eliza.
Hello, it's so nice to be here.
Thanks for taking the time. Eliza, at our Tourism Outlook Forum last month, you screened a recap of the work your team accomplished this year and gave us a look into the next phase of destination management for 2023. We're going to roll that tape right now, and then you and I will discuss ACRA's role in visitor and community outreach as it pertains to this destination.
Sounds great. Aspen rang in the 2022 New Year with consecutive powder days thanks to the wonderful snowstorm over the holiday time period. Powder days were a much more favorable statistic than the early 2022 Omicron surge. Eventually, mask mandates and gathering restrictions were lifted, and boy were we glad to see the smiles and join the community in celebrating the incredible Aspen High School basketball team going undefeated and winning the state championship, joining the dance and golf teams in their successes. Heading into Q2 of 2022 proved to be the return to new normal we had all been waiting for. 2022 shined a little brighter with the most spectacular fall in recent memory and is shaping up to give us a great start to ski season. International testing requirements for inbound U.S. travelers were lifted in June, allowing more freedom to roam than the previous 2 years. With a return to a more normal travel pattern, we saw a decline in interest in rural destinations like Aspen and public lands, and many of our residents and visitors venturing abroad. Average daily rates remained high in our area, contributing to a continued growth in lodging tax receipts despite the relative decrease in occupancy. Attuned to these changes in the industry, Aspen Chamber Resort Association released the Aspen Destination Management Plan, the ADMP, in March. A plan 7 months in the making involving desk-side research analysts, 2 tourism town halls, 2 co-creation labs, 1,299 resident surveys, and 10 one-on-one stakeholder interviews. The results synthesized the challenges Aspen is facing and provided mindful strategies through the lens of our 3 established pillars of address visitor pressure, enhance the Aspen experience, and preserve small-town character. Designed to enhance the resiliency of the community over the next 5 years and beyond, the ADMP serves to build from and accelerate ACRA's successes and aims to protect quality of life and simultaneously preserve the very reason people enjoy coming here. The plan belongs to the community, and ACRA's role varies from lead, partner, or advocate depending on the strategy. The success of the plan relies on full community participation to execute against the plan's recommendations. Following initial rollout of the plan, the team got to work on implementation. Our content campaign objectives are to build overall brand awareness of seasonal activities and getaways, promote safety and etiquette information to users currently in the destination, and encourage visitation by promoting lodging among the most engaged users. We ran content campaigns from February to mid-March, took a pause during secret season to acknowledge the feedback from the ADMP to limit actions to promote the off-season, and then started up again in mid-May and will continue until year-end. We also ran a Defy Ordinary Fall campaign as well as a campaign to promote the Thanksgiving to pre-Christmas time period. Leaning into the learnings from the ADMP, it became apparent that we needed to reinvigorate the Defy Ordinary campaign, originally launched 11 years ago. The brand video was refreshed and shown at the Food and Wine Luncheon, receiving high accolades from all those in attendance. It was also prudent to relaunch the Aspen Pledge, ensuring it was speaking to residents as well as visitors. For Pledge 2.0, we also wanted to ensure we incorporated diversity, kindness, and alternate modes of transportation. The new pledge launched in July alongside an incentive and was the call to action for the locally facing Defy Ordinary campaign, which ran until September. For each pledge signed, ACRA is making a donation of $18.80, which honors the year Aspen was incorporated, 1880. Those signing the pledge can choose between the Independence Pass Foundation and Roaring Fork Outdoor Volunteers as the beneficiary organizations. For the initial launch, ACRA has committed up to $50,000 in donations. ACRA is utilizing funds generated by visitors in overnight accommodations and putting them directly back into organizations that take care of our public lands, which are enjoyed by visitors and residents alike. ACRA was awarded a grant from the Colorado Tourism Office to provide technical assistance for a priority tourism need. Through our work with a core team of stakeholders, the priority need was identified in late 2021 as a capacity, comfort, and compression calendar for Aspen, and in 2022 we have been busy building out the tool. The calendar will help identify off-peak within peak timeframes and will demonstrate to the community that we are utilizing data to drive our decisions about when we are acting with a marketing or management hat on, and ultimately making this a sustainable place to live and do business. The tool will be rolled out to the community in the coming months. This year on social media, we incorporated more educational content into our aspirational messaging with a video-first approach. As we saw Reels become the dominant factor on Instagram, we pushed out more videos on social than ever before that were a combination of organic and user-generated content. With a video-first approach, we also became live on TikTok and worked with 26 Digital to push our campaigns out on this new platform as well. The ADMP highlights the importance of diversity and honoring Indigenous cultures. With the guidance of Aspen Historical Society and their relationship with the National Association for Interpretation, we created a land acknowledgement statement in the spirit of healing. We also continued to diversify the influencers we hosted, including a wider demographic in our videos and content. We are pleased to be part of the Challenge Aspen Open Doors campaign. We look forward to working with Challenge Aspen to share accessibility information with our guests and locals, as well as work with local businesses to enhance or highlight their accessibility features. This fall, we hosted a training for partners in collaboration with Ascendigo on wandering and elopement. Our public relations efforts were focused on promoting the release of the ADMP, both locally and within the industry. We redoubled our efforts to focus on arts and culture initiatives, the Aspen Pledge, and education in the responsible tourism field. We also supported Aspen Lodges and Aspen Skiing Company media visits. We were given the opportunity to host the Travel Classics event in September, but given the capacity to accommodate this event within the destination, we deferred and Vail became the host destination. ACRA had a strong presence, sponsoring the Taste of Colorado dinner in collaboration with Mawa McQueen, as well as a break during the conference. The success of Aspen's presence at this event was a great example of management and marketing working in concert. The ACRA Special Events Department produces destination-worthy but locally serving events throughout the year. Based on community feedback in the ADMP, we determined the Aspen Arts Festival, historically produced by ACRA in the third weekend in July, was no longer serving our community's needs and thus focused our attention on the production of Winter Skol and Food and Wine. The spirit of winter shined bright as traditional Winter Skol components took to social media. The Show Us Your Button social campaign gave the community an outlet to showcase their Winter Skol button from current or past years. The Food and Wine Classic in Aspen returned in 2022 back to its historically held weekend in early June. In partnership with Food and Wine magazine, ACRA sponsored Ben's Friends, an organization offering a bridge to sobriety for professionals in the food and beverage industry. Ben's Friends now continues as an ongoing Aspen gathering. In order to promote the useful content on our website, the ACRA sales team is in year 2 of our Meetings and Weddings LinkedIn campaign. This focused campaign is being utilized as a channel to educate planners on group experiences that will protect our natural environment, promote local businesses and group vendors, provide a deeper understanding of ACRA's role in the community and the group services provided, all while keeping the destination top of mind in the meetings and events industry. As a strategy to accelerate the reduction of tourism's carbon footprint, ACRA has implemented a booking incentive in partnership with the Good Traveler to offset air and ground transportation for groups sourcing their programs through our sales team. This booking incentive will incentivize groups to utilize ACRA's destination services while educating them on this carbon offset program that will help fund the work of restoring climate balance. This fall, ACRA supported the United Nations Mountain Partnership meeting, hosted by the Aspen International Mountain Partnership at the Aspen Institute. ACRA supported the conference by sourcing Aspen lodging options at various price points, connecting AIMF to member businesses and group vendors, extended sponsorship dollars to support the production of the conference, and increased local visibility. The group sales team first spoke to AIMF about supporting this conference over 10 years ago when they first bid on hosting it in Aspen. ACRA is no stranger to collaboration, and we are proud to highlight some of 2022's successes for our community. ACRA continues as a member of the Fly Aspen Snowmass Airport Committee, ensuring excellence in air service throughout the year, not only for our visitors, but our well-traveled residents as well. Fly Aspen Snowmass also worked to return ground service transportation from Denver International Airport to the community with the newly launched Roaring Fork Express. In partnership with Snowmass Tourism and Aspen Skiing Company, ACRA continues to deliver Destometrics occupancy and retail reports to the community, providing businesses with a helpful planning tool for their operations. In addition to the special events ACRA produces, as part of our strategic plan, we continue to support legacy organizations on events such as X Games and Aspen Gay Ski Week. And this year, we were proud to welcome Aspen Santa Fe Ballet back to live performance, Free to the Community with Bloom in Wagner Park. We sponsored 2 Roaring Fork outdoor volunteer cleanup days, and ACRA provided staff with comp time off if they volunteered for either day, ensuring we as an organization are not only talking the talk, but walking the walk. We also continue to support Aspen Cycling Club and Roaring Fork Mountain Bike Association, acknowledging the increase in cycling, trail usage, and e-bikes since the start of the pandemic. ACRA continues to host the Maroon Bells reservation system on aspenchamber.org, and our collaborative working group made up of RAFTA, U.S. Forest Service, Aspen Skiing Company, Pitkin County, City of Aspen, and H2O Ventures was proud to receive the Rocky Mountain Regional Foresters Honor Award for setting up the reservation system in 2020. Ridership decreased in 2022 as compared to the same time period in 2021. Further illustrating a more realistic visitation pattern as we return to normal. The group continues to fine-tune the experience and work towards meeting all user groups' requests with feedback and a goal for improving each year. ACRA is also a funding partner for the Maroon Bells Comprehensive Recreation Management Plan, an initiative that aims to provide a framework to sustainably manage recreation, access to, and activities within the Maroon Creek Valley. The Roaring Fork Destination Alliance, made up of chambers and destination organizations from Glenwood, Carbondale, Basalt, Snowmass, and Aspen, are working together on crisis communication tools, uniform signage, and the similar challenges that all of our communities are facing. As a group, we are working together on the Roaring Fork and Farm map, an established visitor guide to agritourism. The visitor guide will launch in spring of 2023. As part of a Colorado Tourism Office effort, ACRA and the Wheeler Opera House are partners on the Colorado Historic Opera House's circuit. This first-of-its-kind collaboration will connect visitors with the arts and culture in Colorado's heritage. The circuit will diversify visitors to the towns and cities involved, attracting people who are interested in arts, culture, and history, aligning to the ADMP strategy of niche targets and arts and cultural promotion. In 2022, ACRA focused on reaching more of the workforce and local population in its communication strategies, and of course, celebrate our employees. We launched a campaign to support local restaurants open during the off-season by purchasing gift cards and distributing them to the local workforce. The word of mouth and rippling effect of goodwill made a positive impact on our workforce while also supporting restaurants and locals during the off-season. We are thrilled to announce our designation as a Top 100 Green Destination, the first step in a multi-year process to get Aspen certified by the Global Sustainable Tourism Council as a sustainable destination. With this award, Aspen is also mentioned on the Good Travel Guide, which increases our visibility and reaches conscious travelers interested in visiting a sustainable destination through the Good Travel Guide website. ACRA looks forward to the opportunities to work together in 2023 to further the recommendations of the Aspen Destination Management Plan in order to address visitor pressure, enhance the Aspen experience, and preserve small-town character so that we can create an environment for Aspen to thrive.
What a great recap of 2022 and a stunning reminder of the beauty and activity that's available here in Aspen. Again, I'm joined by Eliza Voss, Vice President of Destination Management at ACRA, who wonderfully narrated that recap. We're going to put a few of those issues in more layman's terms. Eliza, and I just want to start by explaining, if you will, the work your team did this year and how it might have been different from what you've been tasked by the community to do in the past.
Sure. So in March of this year, we rolled out the Aspen Destination Management Plan, which belongs to the community and really came together through quite a lot of engagement with community members, 10 one-on-one interviews, just shy of 1,300 resident surveys, 2 tourism town halls, 2 co-creation labs, and quite a lot of desk-side research. So we launched that plan and then really started working out some of the initiatives and the programming. And I'd say the biggest change is really inviting the residents into the fold. Historically, tourism has been focused, and that's kind of as an industry, not just locally. But tourism as an industry has been focused on the visitor and bringing the guest into a destination, and really the health of the destination relies on the residents.
Absolutely. And of course, I mean, initially the residents are who passed a ballot measure asking for money to be spent bringing people in. So there has been a voice in the past. But of course, going back to them, this over the last couple of years, then what did that mean? Like when you went to advertise or not this year, how did that look different from what we've seen in the past?
About 10, maybe 11 years ago, the directive kind of from the community was to extend the peak summer season, which is about 8 weeks, and it was to extend that into the shoulder season. So we used to have a secret season initiative and the Fall in Love with Aspen campaign. And while we are running content throughout the year, this year we did pause during that traditional secret season time period. And just to be clear, that is not, we didn't turn off all spring marketing, but we did not do acquisition marketing for that secret season, which historically was April through mid-May.
Okay.
So we were quiet to respect the desire of that feedback, which was to protect the off-season.
And then throughout the year, was there anything different about the type of communication to people who might be interested in visiting Aspen?
For a while now, we've been doing kind of educational and respectful and responsible visitation messaging. So it's not a huge shift at this point, but it is definitely the lead message now.
Okay. One thing I find interesting is that, like you said, this huge outreach push went in essentially the summer of 2021. So that was back-to-back high visitation summers. People weren't traveling worldwide. They wanted to get to outdoor spaces where they felt a little less crowded with the worldwide pandemic on. So we're asking people kind of at the height of a second year of visitation to the community. 2022, you presented numbers where we are seeing some of that visitation roll back as other markets open. Maybe the outdoors isn't actually for everyone and they're going to Paris instead. So what are you doing to kind of match that the feedback happened in one very specific experience and now here we are in another?
Sure. So I think a lot of the challenges that Aspen faced during COVID, or things that were exacerbated during COVID, we already were facing. So employee housing, workforce shortage, those things are not necessarily new to Aspen or other mountain communities, but they certainly were exacerbated during the pandemic. And I think some of the visitor pressure that we felt during 2020 or 2021 was not just visitors. It was our second homeowners spending more time in their residences, as well as we gained quite a lot of new residents during COVID. So it's not just kind of a visitor versus resident picture. There's quite a lot more to the story.
Are we using that snapshot of feedback and running with what we were directed from then on?
No, I think as with everything, you have to really allow things to be dynamic. There's so many forces at play outside of our control. I mean, we rolled out that plan, and then Ukraine and Russia went to war. There was a looming recession. So we will always kind of be pivoting to the needs of the community. So we have the base of feedback, and we'll continue to engage. And actually right now we have surveys running for both residents and business stakeholders. And you can take those at aspenchamber.org/surveys. They'll be running for the first 2 weeks of December. And that continuous feedback loop is really important to kind of really always stay informed with, are we doing the right thing? How should we be pivoting?
Can I parse those out a little bit? Why? What are you asking the businesses, or what kind of information will we get from businesses versus residents? I know people have survey fatigue, but I want to, I guess, reiterate how important it is, or how real it is, that if you take these surveys, ACRA then pivots.
Yeah, we really want to hear from residents. We're gaining kind of a sentiment. So that's what the Destination Analyst survey is, gaining sentiment surrounding that. I have heard it's long. I agree. We're working on that. But it is, the residents' chance to have a voice in how we can shape the tourism landscape here, and same with the businesses. So this shift to kind of laying off the gas pedal on the off seasons, we understand that some businesses that might not work for them. People are paying rent 12 months a year. They want to employ people 12 months a year. So we're really trying to gauge where that comfort line is. So residents feel comfortable with the amount of visitors within the destination, but also businesses feel like they're making money. So it's sustainability.
And you're actually working on a tool where that's not just sentiment or just dollar amounts. We'll have some data behind that. A capacity compression comfort calendar. So those of us who don't say those words every day the way you and your team does, what is that? Who would use it? Like, what kind of decision making will happen once that's up and running?
Sure. So we have worked, it was part of a grant with the Colorado Tourism Office, which was to identify a priority tourism need and then utilize 75 hours of technical assistance to kind of further that, or to work on that need. And so we identified the need was some sort of capacity calendar, and we worked with our contractor, David Holder, to create this tool, which looks at existing data points in the community. So things like enplanements and deplanements on airplanes, occupancy reports, wastewater flow data, events that are happening. And really it's a way to gauge, we have a data set, right, that has, I'll just break it down. If we have 100 hotel rooms, that's your capacity.
Okay.
If 80 of them are filled, that's your compression. And then we're trying to figure out what the comfort number is. I think for a long time in tourism, 100% was the goal.
Okay.
And that's really not real anymore. We need to figure out what that comfort number is. And I know, that's a mind shift for a lot of people. I've been doing this work and going to conferences where all the same people are doing this. So I'm very comfortable with that now,
Yeah.
but it's a shift in mentality to get to a comfortable place versus just max it out all the time.
Okay.
So right now we're playing with the number 15% off of the total capacity is where comfort range lives. But again, that's going to be informed by those surveys, which is why it's important to get that data to inform where do people really feel comfortable.
Great. And you do have this great graphic that we can put up on the screen of an example, because of course that's going to be different throughout the seasons. Even the capacity changes throughout seasons, which is fascinating, right? We can't just say we have this many hotel rooms, and so we always need to go for this many visitors, because the number of hotels that come on and offline in the seasons. And it might be more comfortable to have people here, you might be able to push that when there's no events, but then there's also events, and there's also street closures, and then it becomes uncomfortable even though it's the same number. So I love that you have this slider where you can kind of be looking at things in their moment.
Exactly. And even our airlift fluctuates throughout the year with our seasonality. So there will be times of year where in the fall we may meet our total airline capacity, but actually hotel occupancy is quite below that comfort range. So in that time period, you would look at maybe looking at a drive market activation for marketing, or if the community is feeling comfortable with that, and hotels are okay operating with that level, then you shift more to management. So ACRA will use it as a tool to determine when we are marketing versus managing, but also we hope that the community uses it as a tool for their own operations, as well as kind of understanding that we've heard ACRA's listening to us and what we have to say.
Fantastic. Where are we in that process? What like this is being developed currently?
Yes, it's a pretty new tool. We're working with our contractor to look at how we can make it a forecasting tool and not just look at arrears, like data in arrears. So there's some exciting stuff with it. It's getting noticed in the industry. So stay tuned.
That's fantastic, and it leads right into my, I guess, broader question about this is, where are we in the industry or among ski resorts? Are we like way in left field playing our own game in this shift to management, or are a lot of worldwide Colorado ski, is it all resorts, who's doing this, or what do they think about us doing it?
Lots of people are doing this. Breckenridge, I think it was the first in Colorado, and they were definitely a leader in this space, and their town council has adopted their management plan, which is really exciting for them. So they've seen great traction. But this is happening everywhere. Jackson Hole is launching their plan right as we speak. Park City has undergone this, even Sedona, Arizona. So it's not just mountain towns, but
Okay.
it does feel like it's rural communities first, probably in Europe and more worldwide. Cities are looking at it as well. But it is certainly a trend in the industry, but I would say, we are on the front end of that trend.
Well, as you mentioned earlier, this isn't new. Actually, about 5 years ago, there was a pretty concentrated awareness of maybe a visitor type or a need for some more education. Can you talk about, I guess, that whole history of what ACRA has been doing that has caused people to look to us and ask, how are you doing that? What are you doing?
Yeah, so we started with dispersion techniques, which was kind of trying to spread people out, which is now we're hearing from the community not what they want. So we're pivoting on that. And then we shifted to visitor-facing education. Starting back in 2016 or 2017, there was about 100,000 new people moving just to the state of Colorado a year. And of course, those people want to get out and experience their new home state, but they might not have had the skill set or education just to be out in the wilderness. Much like if I were plopped down in the Japanese subway system, I might not know where to go. So we started with those tactics, and now, incorporating the resident is the latest step in our evolution.
You've had something for years now called the Aspen Pledge, which was a very lighthearted, tongue-in-cheek way to experience the outdoors. It's pivoted a bit in 2022, I think, to include some of that community, and once you're in the town as well, how to interact. Can you talk about the shift?
Yes. So we launched that following a series of unfortunate events on Capitol Peak. So it was really focused on kind of outdoor safety. But as we, are here now in 2022, we wanted to incorporate diversity. We wanted to incorporate alternative modes of transportation, and then kindness. We saw that people seemed to forget how to be kind during the pandemic. So those were three big goals. But then I think my favorite line of the pledge is the beginning line, which is whether Aspen is my home or home away from home. And that really is to indicate, we have to stop this us versus them, new versus old. Everybody's got to love and treat Aspen with the same respect, no matter, if you live, work, or play here. So I think that's my favorite. Everybody's got to take care of this little place called Aspen.
Absolutely. And it might not be that unique to fall madly in love with it. That might be a pretty universal thing for those who arrive in whatever capacity. We've just had that up on the screen so the viewers can memorize that. What can they do actually to take action, or what is ACRA doing with that pledge to make it more than, I guess, just a printed piece of paper? Yeah,
with the relaunch, which happened in July, we committed $50,000 to give back to two organizations that take care of our public lands. So right now it's Roaring Fork Outdoor Volunteers and Independence Pass Foundation. So you can go to aspenchamber.org/pledge and take the pledge, and then select which organization you would like ACRA to give $18.80 to on your behalf. So that's utilizing funds generated by visitors staying in overnight accommodations and giving directly back into our public lands, which is something that is enjoyed by both visitors and residents alike.
And that nod to our founding year, 1880, with
Yes.
that amount. Eliza Voss, Vice President of Destination Marketing. Eliza Voss, Vice President of Destination Marketing at the Aspen Chamber. Thank you so much for taking the time to work on all of this on behalf of the community, bring us some of the visitor trends, exciting new tools, and share all of that here on Aspen Affairs.
Thank you. My television debut. Very exciting.
It'll continue from here, I'm sure. Make sure to take those surveys, and you can keep up with what's going on with the Aspen Destination Management Plan at aspenchamber.org/ADMP. I'm Alycin Bektesh, Public Affairs Manager with the Aspen Chamber. Thanks for watching Aspen Affairs.